There's a kind of man who doesn't chase respect. He bends the air around him until it's given. He doesn't bark orders or throw fists. He doesn't need loud entrances or fake bravado. His silence is lethal. His stare is a sentence. And when he walks in, every weak man in the room feels it. The raw, unshakable presence of someone who's been through hell and chose to stay there until he became something else entirely. This man isn't built by luck or praise. He's carved by solitude, betrayal, and brutal self-confrontation. And the truth is, you were meant to be him. But life didn't train you, it tested you. It cracked you open without asking. It let people walk away without apologizing. Let them spit lies into your trust and burn bridges while smiling. It didn't give you a map, only scars. And somewhere along the way, you swallowed your roar, played it safe, numbed your fire just to fit in, just to not be too much. But the rage never left. It's in your chest, pounding, watching, waiting to be weaponized. Not in chaos, but in control. Not to destroy, but to rebuild a version of you that bows to nothing. That's what this is. Not another cute motivational speech to help you feel good. This is an unfiltered call to war. A path to awaken the weapon inside you that's been buried beneath people-pleasing fear and softness. I'm going to show you 5 brutal habits. Not for comfort, not for approval, but to forge a man that doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and damn sure doesn't beg. These are habits that kill weakness, burn illusions, and sharpen your soul until it cuts through every lie you've been sold about who you are. Understand this. Power isn't in how loud you can scream. It's in how quiet you can stay when the world tries to break you. As Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Sit with that, because this isn't about fake masculinity or fragile ego. This is about becoming a man who doesn't react, he responds. Who doesn't explode, he executes. And who doesn't need validation because his very existence demands attention. If you've ever been underestimated, good. If you've ever been heartbroken, betrayed, mocked, or ignored, perfect. Because the storm that built you is more honest than any comfort zone you've ever crawled into. And the version of you that's coming, he's not here to play nice. He's not here to be liked. He's here to lead. And not by title, but by presence. A man forged in silence, sharpened by suffering, and fueled by a fire that never asks permission. So don't just watch this like another video. Bleed into it. Let it rip through every soft corner of you that still thinks being liked is more important than being real. Because this isn't self-help, it's self-destruction of everything that kept you small. And if you're ready to become untouchable, then subscribe, share it with someone who needs a war cry, and comment below. I am the storm behind the silence. We begin now. Number 1, learn to enjoy being feared for the right reasons. Power doesn't walk into a room smiling. It doesn't shake hands to be liked. Real power walks in like thunder, silent, brutal, and unapologetically cold. People feel it in their gut before you even speak. Their lungs tighten. Their fake smiles twitch. Because you carry something they can't decode. Self-respect sharpened like a blade. And in a world obsessed with people-pleasing, the man who doesn't beg to be understood becomes the most terrifying presence of all. You think being liked will save you. You think approval will buy you freedom. Let me break the illusion. Men who chase approval become pets, neutered, leashed, fed crumbs just to sit still and behave. Look around. See the polite ones. They laugh when they're dying inside. They nod while their boundaries rot. Every day they shave off pieces of themselves just to keep the peace. And by the time they open their eyes, they're ghosts, breathing, smiling, number. But there's a different breed out there. A man who's burned every need for applause down to ash. He doesn't seek attention, he demands atmosphere. His silence bends the air. His eye contact isn't conversation, it's warning. His boundaries aren't walls, they're landmines. You feel him before you understand him, and by the time you do, it's too late. He's already gone, and you're left staring at the crater. Seneca once said, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." But today, death isn't what kills men. Judgment is the fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being labeled. So men silence themselves, water down their convictions, trade boldness for silence and authenticity for approval, and they rot slowly, beautifully, quietly until no one remembers who they were. But not you. You're not here to be remembered for being agreeable. You're not here to kneel in rooms that insult your soul. You're here to be a walking ultimatum, to carry yourself like your presence is a privilege, to speak like your voice is a verdict. You don't owe softness to a world that weaponizes your kindness. Let them fear losing your energy. Let them sweat trying to earn your time. Let them struggle to figure you out and never hand them the map. Because here's the most twisted truth of all. They respect what they can't control. They worship what stands alone. They obey what doesn't flinch. The moment you stop explaining yourself, stop chasing smiles, stop laughing when your heart is silent, you become a problem, a myth, a standard. You become untouchable, so be feared. Not with violence, but with unshakable silence. Not through chaos, but through the brutal calm of a man who doesn't need anyone. And when the world tries to poke, prod, provoke you, you smile once, then disappear. Let your absence slap louder than your words ever could. Because when you stop being accessible, they start respecting your mystery. And that's not power, that's legend. Number 2, never let your emotions speak before you do. They told you to let it out, to cry loud, to scream into pillows, to text your pain, to vent like it'll cleanse your soul, and you believed them. But what they didn't tell you, what they were too scared to admit, is that every time you explode, every time you show the world your raw emotions without restraint, you lose a piece of your power. You hand it over voluntarily. And the worst part, the world doesn't honor it. It doesn't respect your transparency. It files it away, uses it against you, and feeds on the chaos you became. Because when your emotions take the wheel, you're no longer a man. You're a ticking time bomb with a soft heart and no steering. You felt it. That boiling rage, that itch to reply, that urge to say something, anything, just to release the fire in your gut. But what happens next? Regret, guilt, shame. The silence afterward mocks you louder than your voice ever did. That text you sent, it haunts you. That call you made, it cost you more than you thought. That argument you escalated, it burned bridges that didn't need to fall. You think that was strength. No, that was you being played by your own emotions like a puppet with its strings soaked in gasoline. You were loud, but you weren't lethal. You were seen, but never feared. Marcus Aurelius didn't write for weak men. He wrote for the ones ready to wear their mind like armor. You have power over your mind, not outside events. That line, that's not ancient wisdom. That's a cold-blooded warning. It means every time you let the outside world decide your inner state, you become predictable. And once you're predictable, you're nothing more than prey with a good vocabulary. The real beast isn't the one who growls. It's the one who watches, breathes slow, and decides when to strike with surgical silence. Imagine your emotions as wild dogs chained in your chest. They bark, they bite, they beg to be released, but you stand still, you don't flinch. You let the leash rattle while the world tries to poke you into chaos. And when they realize you won't break, when they see you walk past betrayal, disrespect, heartbreak without folding, they don't know whether to fear you or follow you. Because only gods remain still in storms. Only kings sit on fire without making a sound. Let your enemies scream first. Let them drown in their own noise. Let them wear their emotions like cheap cologne. Loud, desperate, and forgettable. You carry yours like a loaded gun with the safety on. Calm hands, cold eyes, a face that gives nothing, a voice that waits. And when you finally speak, when you finally let a single word out, it doesn't land like a whisper. It erupts like a verdict, final, unshakable, echoing in the bones of those who thought they had you figured out. So no, you're not here to express everything. You're not here to be understood. You're here to dominate your damn emotions like they owe you rent. You're here to become the man who scares the world with how little he reacts. And when you master that, you don't just gain respect. You become the storm they never saw coming. Number 3, build your life in the dark. Speak through results. You don't need the world to know. And if you're smart, you won't let them. Most men spend their lives shouting about their dreams like they're desperate for approval. They want the likes, the praise, the constant confirmation that they might just be capable of something. But a real man, he goes silent. He disappears. Not because he's weak, not because he's scared, but because he knows that real power isn't born in the spotlight. It's made in the dark. It's crafted when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when the world doesn't even know you're coming for it. This is your secret weapon. Disappear. Fade into the abyss of your grind, the darkest corners of your ambition. Work without a single word. While everyone else is bragging about potential, you're refining raw energy into something unbreakable, untouchable. And when the time is right, when you step out of the shadows, you won't need to talk. The results will scream louder than any speech ever could. Your presence will be the storm that hit when no one was looking, and they'll remember your silence more than they ever could your words. You've heard it 1,000 times. It's the journey that matters. But the real secret, it's not about the journey. It's about the moments that no one sees. The sweat that drips when the lights are off. The struggle when everyone else is sleeping. Too weak to even imagine the work you're putting in. It's those hours when the gym is empty, when the books are cracked open, and you can feel the weight of your own growth burning every muscle in your soul, and no one will ever know. They'll think you're quiet. They'll think you've faded into the background. They'll think you're weak, but that's where they're wrong. They'll see nothing, and you'll be building an empire in the dark. Zeno, the man who walked the earth without needing applause, said, "Well-being is realized by small steps, but is truly no small thing." That's the key. Those small steps, those tiny movements, those silent choices you make every damn day, they're transforming you into something the world won't recognize at first. They'll ignore you, they'll dismiss you, they'll think you're insignificant, and that's exactly how you get ahead. When they think you're invisible, that's when you're most dangerous. Because when you emerge from the shadows, your transformation will hit them like a freight train. Stop explaining your every move. Stop chasing approval like a desperate dog. Let them think you've fallen behind. Let them think you've quit. Let them laugh as they watch you vanish. Because when you rise, you won't have to announce your return. They'll feel it in the ground beneath them. They'll hear it in the silence of your presence. And they'll know they've underestimated you and will regret it for the rest of their miserable lives. Here's the truth no one will tell you. You don't need to be seen to become unforgettable. Your results, they'll speak for themselves. And when they do, the world will bow to your silence, because only those who never needed the world to notice will own it in the end. Number 4, destroy neediness. Kill approval. Master detachment. Neediness is a sickness that wears perfume. It smells sweet when it walks in, but it rots you from the inside. You start texting with hope, waiting like a dog, eyes glued to a screen that never glows. You scroll through her story, her smile, her silence, wondering what you did wrong. But that's the joke, isn't it? Neediness doesn't ask questions, it kneels, it surrenders. And the moment you kneel, the moment you crave, they don't see a man. They see a toy, a convenience, a button to press when boredom creeps in. Every time you wait for a reply that never comes, a part of your spine collapses. You start negotiating with your own value. You water down your words. You get softer, quieter, more agreeable. You become what they want until you forget what you are. And worst of all, you think that's love. You think that's connection, but it's not. It's self-abandonment on a leash painted with emojis. And maybe next time, burn that version of you. Rip him out like a demon. The one who needed answers. The one who waited for closure. The one who hoped they'd finally choose him. You don't need closure. You need rebirth. You need to take the version of you that begged for validation and drown him in silence so loud the universe goes quiet for a second. That's what real detachment is. It's not coldness. It's resurrection. It's walking out of your own grave with blood on your hands and a smirk that says, "I'm done." Epictetus said it centuries ago while the world still wore togas. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. And freedom doesn't live in compliments, it lives in indifference. It lives in walking away without looking back. It lives in deleting a number without shaking. In unmatching without regret, in loving yourself so hard that someone else's absence becomes irrelevant. When you master detachment, you become terrifying because now they can't bait you. They can't guilt you. They can't lure you back with breadcrumbs and old pictures. They come knocking, but you don't open. They test your emotions, but you don't flinch. They scream you've changed, and you smile because damn right you have. This isn't about being heartless. This is about protecting the pulse that was once wasted on the unworthy. You love deeper than most. But now you love with a sword behind your back and your standards armored in steel. No more begging, no more explaining, no more checking who watched your story. You are the story now. You are the standard now. And the ones who don't recognize your value, let them go blind staring at your glow because you're not just detached, you're dangerous. Number 5, embrace loneliness and turn it into legend. Loneliness is not soft. It is not some gentle sadness in a love song or a rain-soaked movie scene. No, loneliness is a blade to the throat. It's a psychological crucifixion. It tears your soul limb by limb. It rips the mask off your face and forces you to meet the version of you that no one applauds. No filters, no followers. Just the raw, unhealed, screaming you. The one you've buried under noise, sex, scrolling, distractions, and fake smiles. This is where the illusions bleed. This is where boys vanish and monsters are born. And yet this furnace, this bleak silent room with no witnesses, no praise, no echo of comfort. This is your throne if you don't run, because in this cursed space your skin peels off. Your ego shatters, your dreams are mocked by reality, and what's left standing isn't weak. It's nuclear. You walk into this darkness as a man. You crawl out as a legend. You ever felt it? That crushing silence at 2:00 a.m. when your phone hasn't lit up in days. When the people you thought would never leave turn to ghosts. When you stare at the ceiling with a rage so deep it makes your teeth clench and your fists shake. Not because someone hurt you, but because you finally see the truth. You've been lying to yourself, pretending you were whole, pretending you didn't need the grind, pretending you could heal by avoiding the pain. But now you're here alone, and you can either run back to the fake world that broke you, or you can become something terrifying. Forget crowds. Forget friends who only call when they need you. Forget the applause. Let them think you disappeared. Let them think you cracked. Let them bury you, because while they laugh, you train. While they sleep, you build. While they post stories, you write your own with blood, tears, and repetition. Your solitude becomes your blacksmith. It bends your will like steel. It tears away weakness molecule by molecule until only truth remains. The kind of truth that can't be faked. The kind that walks into any room and commands respect without saying a damn word. And don't confuse this power with ego. Ego needs an audience. Real power is silent, detached, ruthless. And when it's born in solitude, it answers to no one. That's the man you become in loneliness. The man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't collapse when left unseen. He evolves. He sharpens. He stalks the future with calm rage and quiet certainty. The Stoic Cleans once said, "Lead me, Zeus, and you, fate, wherever you have assigned me, I shall follow." Not out of weakness, but because he knew that suffering, real brutal soul-breaking suffering, is not an enemy. It's an invitation. So when the universe locks you in a cage of silence, no comfort, no rescue, don't scream, don't beg, smile, because now it's your turn. Now you get to become what they said you never could. So let the night stretch. Let the silence scream. Let your muscles ache and your heart break. Let the world forget your name while you rewrite it in silence. No spotlight, no comfort, just you and the beast you're building. And when you rise, because you will, you won't need to say a word. Your presence will make noise. Your story will make gods weep. And every person who left you in the dark will watch you shine with fire in your eyes and a legacy in your hands. Because when a man masters loneliness, the world becomes his echo. These 5 habits aren't lifestyle tips. They're spiritual warfare, psychological weapons, blueprints to detonate the weak version of you. The one who settles, explains himself, seeks comfort, and clings to approval. That version of you, he dies today. What rises from the ashes is not just better. It's untouchable, unbothered, unbreakable. A man sculpted in solitude, crowned in pain, cloaked in silence. The kind of man who doesn't speak to be heard, he exists to be felt. Because in a world of screaming mouths and trembling souls, you become the stillness they can't understand. While others break under pressure, you become the pressure. While they scroll, panic, whine, and chase, you build in the shadows. You disappear just to return with thunder in your step and a storm in your eyes. This isn't about motivation. This is about domination. This is about becoming the one they whisper about, the one whose absence haunts louder than their presence ever could, the one whose boundaries aren't spoken. They're felt like voltage through the room. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. And these 5 habits, they don't just lift you, they weaponize you. So if any word here carved through your chest like a blade, if any part of this made you stop and stare at the life you've tolerated, don't stay quiet. Like this video, like your future depends on it. Share it with someone who's on the verge of snapping or rising. And subscribe, because we're not done. Not by a long shot. And in the comments, etch your affirmations in digital blood. Not for likes, not for validation, but to mark this moment. To stamp this page in your timeline, the day you stopped making excuses, the day you started becoming a legend. Let them feel your silence like an earthquake. Let them watch your rise like prophecy fulfilled.